What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, which will be most of you, I'm a Diamond 1 support player from the US server. I've competed against some of the top players and teams in Europe, attended offline events like Insomnia and DreamHack, and both me and Cloth5 will be bringing you some quick and easy to follow guides that we hope will be helpful. I'm going to divide team fighting as a support in 5 different categories: the Protector, Engager, Disengager, Pickoff, and Hybrid. And don't worry, because I'll be explaining each one in detail. I'll talk about each one and then I'll analyze a team fight for each type, while focusing on the most important points. Let's get rolling. So, first off, we have the Protector support, and as the name implies, your job will be to protect. To make things easier, I'll even sum it up for you. You need to follow 3 basic steps. First, you'll need to identify who's dealing the most damage on your team. Second, you'll need to identify who's a higher threat to that person. And 3, you'll have to build, position, and peel accordingly. So, some people may be asking themselves, I thought support is supposed to be protecting the AD carry. And the answer is yes, you are. Most of the cases, the person dealing the most damage to the enemy team is your AD carry. However, sometimes your AD carry isn't doing so well, and by protecting him alone, you'll have no damage, leading to a lost team fight. As for champions, my favorite picks are Sona because of sustain, damage reduction on our area of perseverance power chord, and crescendo, Thresh, since every single skill in his kit can be used for protection, Alistar, or even Fiddlesticks, who CC, when properly chained, can keep a target totally helpless for up to 4.4 seconds. Let's analyze a Protector support team fight. I used Shurelius to catch up on Varus who's mispositioned. Now you'll want to know the enemy's team's champion skills. Here, we back off because we see Kha'Zix and Lee Sin approaching our backline. I position myself in order to get hit by Lee Sin's Sonic Wave instead of Annie. I then exhaust Kha'Zix while using Michael's Crucible on Annie, who was slowed and almost out of HP. Make sure you stick to your carry in order to soak up some damage and peel if possible. Then I notice the enemy team has 2 sources of damage, while we only have 1, so I wait for the opportune moment to catch the primary target, Kha'Zix, while also getting Ahri stuck in the crescendo. We finish off Kha'Zix after his Guardian Angel, and we proceed to clean up the fight. Have in mind that in this game, we were behind both kills and objectives. It was the first team fight we did with Michael's Crucible, so you can clearly see that a support with proper positioning and build can completely turn a lost game. We ended up winning the next team fight, taking Baron and getting the win. Second on my list, Engager. And yes, the Engager's job is to engage. Yes, I am rather creative man. Anyway, you'll be committing to engaging the enemy team and picking off the fights for your own team. You will probably need to play this role if your team has a lack of hard engage, making it harder for the other team to just run away or kite you back. Sound simple enough? Let's break it down. First, identify high priority targets. Second, wait or create openings to engage onto those targets. 3. Engage. As for champion picks, I usually go for either Thresh or Leona, since they have, in my opinion at least, the best skill sets for the job. Sona is also a good option, with the usual flash ult combo. Fiddlesticks is also to be considered, thanks to his ult and follow-up CC. Now I'll be showing you not 1 but 2 team fights, one using Leona and another using Thresh. The first team fight's footage was taken from a normal game with a few friends. It shows how you should take advantage of openings, while the second one was in a pre-made ranked game and is meant to show an example of how you can create openings. In this game I realized that Morgana is the one dealing the most damage to our team. As soon as she uses her shield on Nautilus, I see the perfect opportunity for me to engage on her, chaining my stuns and giving our team a free kill. We then proceed to damage the enemy team's members and attempt to take the turret, while me and Amumu seek an alternative path to grant us another opening for engage. We see Varus taking an offensive position, while we have number advantage, so immediately both me and Amumu lock him down and proceed to take the inhibitor afterwards. Even though I don't actually start this fight, I managed to create an opening to engage on Splash by flashing over their front line and grabbing her with Death Sentence, which combined with the box, Flay, and Nocturne's follow-up, gets her team the kill. Since Ahri used her ultimate to escape, she's no longer that much of a threat. Plus, we probably can't get to her in time either, so we back off and clean up the remaining members of the enemy team's front line. Next up, we have the Disengager, and it's pretty much the opposite of the Engager. Your role will be to disengage teamfights, and you usually only pick something specific for Disengage when you know from the get-go that your team does not want to teamfight. This happens when you have a lot of poke or even split push. If the enemy team's composition is better for teamfight than yours, then maybe picking a Disengager is a good idea. Usually my chain of thought while playing a Disengager is something like this. First, notice if the enemy team shows any desire to teamfight. Second, if so, notice how many members of both teams are present. 3. Unless your team has a number advantage or is ahead of the enemy team in gold, disengage. As for champion picks, Janna, Nami and Sona are, in my opinion, the best picks for disengaging. Janna's Howling Gale and Monsoon are arguably the best disengaging tools in the game. Also, Nami's Aqua Prison and Tidal Wave serve the same purpose almost as well. At last but not least, Sona has the disengaging potential with her Crescendo, while speeding your whole team up with Song of Celerity, and even having the added bonus of increasing your team's damage with her Imp of Valor, which helps even more when allied to a poke comp. This time we're at the mid lane. Jarvan engages onto Graves, forcing our hand. Rumble uses the Equalizer on our back line, and we're left with few choices. I choose to use Crescendo, catching all 3 top priority champions of the enemy team, while Kayle uses Intervention on herself to keep as healthy as possible. With those 2 skills combined, we managed to get 2 kills and buy Wukong enough time to rotate to the mid lane. By the end of this teamfight, we get 3 kills, 2 turrets, and the middle inhibitor. Like I stated earlier, you don't want to teamfight with fewer members than the enemy team. While Wukong pushes top, we pressure mid, but the enemy team engages. The Crescendo's purpose was to disengage from the enemy team, and to buy Wukong enough time to group up with the rest of us. As for the pickup support, the concept is pretty simple. You don't want to teamfight with equal numbers, so your goal is to pick someone off, burst them down, gain the number advantage, and then fight again. A pickup support must have the ability to lock down a target and or disposition them so that the kill is as quick and clean as possible. So, once again, let's sum it up in a few steps. First, recognize which champions are high priority. Second, look for an opening or create it to pick them off. 3. Pick off the champion and burst them down. I know it sounds easy enough, but sometimes it's kinda harder to pull off than it seems. Champion-wise, there stands but one king of the pick-off, Blitzcrank. Another great support that can be played with a pick-off potential is Thresh. Well, cause Hook's OP. Another great support is Alistar. You can flash, pulverize, and headbutt an enemy into your own team. Before I actually show you a pick-off support in action, I wanted to show you this little clip. This is a key part of being a support. Even though you're not building any items, remember that knowing where the enemy team is and denying them vision over your own team saves lives. If you'd rather be buying something like a Locket of the Iron Solari, think about it this way. If you're building an item like that, your purpose is to protect your team. Wards do the same thing. If one of your teammates sees where the enemies are, the chance of him dying drops significantly. There's a reason why I'm showing this clip now though. A pick-off support feeds on vision. Remember that no team is always together. There are waves to be pushed, jungle camps to be cleared, buffs to be collected and objectives to be taken. If you have vision over these paths, your chance of catching someone off guard and grabbing them, for instance, increase exponentially. Boots of Mobility, Oracle's Elixir, Ruby Sightstone and massive amounts of wards is all you actually need when playing pick-off. In this first clip, I get banished by Mumu. Fearing the curse of the said mummy, I managed to predict and flash his ultimate. I then realized he left Orianna alone, who's now mispositioned. I charge back in for the Rocket Grab, Power Fist and Static Field, since I now have the aid of my team, in order to burst Orianna down. We get a kill for nothing, just like the robot likes it. The second clip is rather short. We're retreating in the mid lane since we are outnumbered. However, I managed to land a Rocket Grab onto Sona, which thanks to both my own burst and my team's damage, allows us to pick a free kill and still be able to back off. For the last pick-off clip, I picked the Thresh game. We find Echelon in the mid lane, so me, Nocturne and Veigar lock her down, resulting in a clean kill. We then realize Zac is also alone, so we proceed with the chase. I follow up with Flash and Flay, but unfortunately still able to back up, thanks to his ultimate. But since Thresh is king, I take a few tower shots, land a blind hook, and pick off another clean kill, even with Ahri trying to protect her teammate. And finally we have the hybrid. And this isn't quite as straightforward as the other support roles may have seemed. A hybrid consists of more than a single role in the same fight. Do not forget that by committing to more roles, you won't be able to carry out each one as well as a dedicated support. Leona, for example, can use Solar Flare to engage a teamfight, and save both Zenith Blade and Shield of Daybreak to protect the carry, and that's if she doesn't have exhaust. Thresh can also engage with Death Sentence and Dark Passage, saving the box and Flay to protect the entire backline of your team. As an example of a hybrid support, I'll be showing you two clips from the same game. In this first clip, Graves is low and is being chased by Jax. I know Jax will try to flash and leap onto him since he won't have enough range for his Q. I wait for the moment he does, and I instantly cast 3-second Terrify and Dark Wind on him, making it impossible for Jax to keep chasing. After that protection bit, I find the perfect moment for engage. I cast Crow Storm from over the wall and instantly flash near Ahri, so I have enough range to cast Terrify on her. Dark Wind helps by silencing the enemy team, and we keep chasing Jax until I manage to cast my Fear item, allowing us to pick up the kill. And that is all for now. Feel free to comment or even make suggestions for future articles and videos. All feedback is highly appreciated and will be taken into account. Also, feel free to subscribe to Cloud5's YouTube channel as well as my own channel, and you can also find me by visiting my Facebook page. Everything will be linked up in the description. Thank you for watching, and until next time.